Alright. Greetings and salutations everybody. How's it going today? My name is Yusuf. Thank you for clicking on this one video today. In today's video, we're going to be discussing a very small tip that you can utilize into your problems that can make a really big impact on them. So, without further ado, the tip that we're going to be discussing today is focusing on the things that can go right. Right? It seems like a very common sense kind of thing, but whenever we're angry or whenever we have a whole bunch of problems being thrown at us, the last thing that we have, or the last thing that we're thinking about, is our common sense. So let me just give you an example of how you can utilize this tip into your problems and how you can deal with them. Last week, before I went on my trip to Chicago, my life was pretty shitty, I'm not gonna lie. I was going through a good amount of problems. I was having trouble selling my car, trouble fixing my car, I was having trouble obtaining my real estate license, I was having trouble with a court hearing, and I was also having trouble with a ticket that I just randomly received out of nowhere. So all these problems, one by one, were really slowly starting to drain me and to bog down my thinking. And it's important to note that whenever you're in this like negative state of mind, it's very easy for your mind to go down into places that you didn't know were possible. So what I decided to do was I decided to call my mentor, and I was just like, look man, here's what I'm going through. What advice do you have for me right now? And what he really noticed was that I was only thinking about the things that can go wrong, right? I was only thinking about my car not selling, me not getting my license. What he said was, take that thinking and then just completely flip it around. Focus on what can go right, right? And then he gave me an example. He was just like, how good would it be if your car sold before you went to Chicago, you had your real estate license, and your ticket was just resolved? And I was just like, that would be pretty good. And I'm laughing about it now because that was my exact reaction to it when he said it. I was like super happy, I was like overjoyed. Right? It brought me, it like completely snapped me out of this like mental rut that I was in. And he was like, okay, good. Focus on that. Focus on that surge of happiness that you just felt, and then use that to take action. Immediately I was like, okay man, I gotta get going, and then I just hung up the phone and I just started working. I just started working and putting myself in a situation, or putting myself in a position where these solutions would be more accessible to me, right? Where I was able to hear out more people, where more suggestions could be made to me, or I just put myself in a good place where that I can find solutions rather than more things to complain about. Slowly, one by one, these problems started to become solved, and they started to become smaller and smaller and smaller. And by the time I left for Chicago, at least half of my problems were gone. Just with that small little tip, I was able to shift my thinking. Just by focusing on what can go right, it made solutions more accessible to me, and it made me take action. So I want you guys to try and utilize this tip in any way or any circumstance that you have whenever things aren't going right for you. And you'll see a difference. You'll see that, oh wow, my thinking really does dictate a lot of how the problem can be solved, right? There's this famous saying that says, the way we see the problem is the problem. You need to take a look at your thinking, because your thinking is ultimately what dictates how you go about things. That is the tip that I wanted to share with you guys today. What are some of the things that you guys do whenever you guys are in a mental rut, or whenever you guys are trapped in a pretty negative situation where you got lots of problems coming left and right to you? Just leave those in the comments and I would be glad to take a look at them. Also, before I go, I just wanted to shout out my boy Noah Karaoke. He made this t-shirt that I'm wearing right now. It's extremely clean. It's a childhood idol of mine, Captain Majid. Extremely fly t-shirt. So shout out to him and the initiative that he is taking with his clothing brand. So yeah, without any further ado, thank you guys very much for clicking on this video today. I'll be signing off for now. Peace.